Hello class. Today we will start with another topic, that is indifference curve analysis or ordinal utility approach to find consumer's equilibrium. Now so far we have done the two approaches for cardinal utility. Now what does ordinal utility means? Now first let us have a recap of what cardinal utility is. Cardinal utility means that we can measure the utility in numbers. We can express it in numbers. That means a particular unit is giving us a satisfaction of certain units, certain number. But in case of ordinal utility, we cannot express the satisfaction derived in numbers. We can make a comparison that a commodity is giving you more satisfaction than the other or lesser satisfaction than the other, but you cannot tell that what exactly is the satisfaction derived from the consumption of the commodities. Say this tea and coffee. A consumer may say that he prefers tea over coffee or coffee over tea, but how much is he preferring tea over coffee? He cannot tell that, and that does not happen in the real life as well. So we will today take up the concept of indifference curve analysis. Now this work was originally done by Pareto in 1901 about somewhere, but the entire work or the complete work on this was done by J.R. Hicks and R.J.D. Allen. J.R. Hicks and R.J.D. Allen. These were the British economists, and these two have done the work on indifference curve analysis. Now, this was done to find out the consumer's equilibrium. Now let us understand what indifference curve is. Now the word different denotes something which is not same. But indifferent means that a consumer doesn't mind consuming different combinations of a good. There's no difference for that person in consumption of different combinations of the goods. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. Let us first do the definition. Now indifference curve is a curve which shows various combinations of two goods. There are different combinations of two goods which gives equal satisfaction to the consumer. Let us see from here. Now these are the different combinations. There are two goods, X and Y. Say mangoes and oranges, you can take it as. Now, it says that all these combinations of X and Y will give same satisfaction to the consumer. If a consumer is consuming 1 unit of mango and 10 units of oranges, he will get the same satisfaction if he consumes 2 units of mangoes and 7 units of oranges, or if he is consuming 3 units of mangoes, 5 units of oranges, or if he is consuming 4 units of mangoes and 4 units of oranges. All these combinations of X and Y, will give him the same satisfaction. So this is the indifference curve. X-axis represents mangoes and Y represents the oranges. So all these combinations A, B, C and D, they give the same level of satisfaction to the consumer. Now you can see here that when the consumer consumes 1 unit of mango, he is consuming 10 units of oranges. Now if he has to increase the consumption of mangoes by 1 unit, he is sacrificing 3 units of oranges. That means he is substituting 3 oranges for 1 unit of mango. Understand it like this. Say you like mangoes more than the oranges. You've got 1 mango and you've got 10 oranges. Now your brother or sister comes and they say ki you take 1 mango from me and give me 3 oranges. Okay, now because you like mangoes more and you have got 10 units of oranges, you will give 3 units of oranges for 1 unit of mango. So for 1 unit of mango, you have given up 3 oranges. Now the quantity of X with you has increased and the quantity of Y with you has decreased. It has become 7 now. So the utility, we know that when you reduce the consumption, when you have lesser of unit, the MU is higher, and when you have more of unit, the MU is lesser. So now what happens if your brother again asks you to take 1 more unit of mango and he asks you to give 3 units of oranges? Now you will not give him 3 units of oranges for 1 unit of mango. So the brother says, chalo theek hai, give it to me for 2 units. You give me 2 oranges and take 1 mango. So now you may agree to give it to him. So for this additional unit, you are sacrificing 2 units. Now, again, if he says, you take 1 unit of mango and give me 2 more units of oranges, now you have got still less of oranges. So you will not take 1 mango for 2 oranges. Now you will give 1 orange only when he gives you 1 mango. So you will be substituting 1 orange for mango. Now, this is called as marginal rate of substitution. Now, marginal rate of substitution means the rate at which a consumer is willing to give up another commodity for additional unit of this commodity. So, to obtain 1 unit of X here, you are substituting 3. So, your MRS is delta Y upon delta X. What is change in Y? 3 upon 1. So, your MRS is 3 here. Marginal rate of substitution is 3:1. In this case, this is change in Y is 2. This is 2:1. And here, the next case, it becomes 1:1. So this is your marginal rate of substitution. That means how many units of Y are you willing to sacrifice for 1 unit of X? This is called as marginal rate of substitution. Please underline this definition in your book. This may be asked for 2 marks. Marginal rate of substitution. So how do we write this? Marginal rate of substitution of X for Y. That means how many units of Y is a consumer willing to give up to obtain 1 unit of X. Now this is represented here on the curve. This is combination A, 1 unit of mango and 10 units of oranges. Then again here you can see 2 units of mangoes and 7 units of oranges, 3 units and 5 units, 4 units and 4 units of oranges. So this is the indifference curve. Now let us understand the assumptions of indifference curve analysis. Now the first assumption says that the consumer is rational. Rational means that the consumer will try to maximize his total satisfaction. So he will always prefer a higher indifference curve. Now see, this is one indifference curve which shows a particular level of satisfaction. There may be several other indifference curves giving a higher level of satisfaction or lower level of satisfaction. Higher level will have larger combination of X and Y. Lower will have a lesser combination of X and Y units. So a higher indifference curve will give higher satisfaction, a lower will give lower satisfaction. And we assume that the consumer is rational and will always prefer a higher indifference curve over a lower indifference curve. That means he will want to maximize his satisfaction. Ordinal utility says that we cannot measure the utility in numbers. We can only make comparison between the utilities or preferences of the various combinations of goods available to the consumer. Non-satiety means that the consumer is never satisfied and will always want to consume or will always want to prefer a larger amount of commodity over the smaller amount. He will always want to have more of commodities. Transitivity of choice says that if a person prefers combination A over combination B and combination B over combination C, then he must prefer combination A over combination C. Now, similarly, if a consumer is indifferent in consumption between combination A and B and then between B and C, he must be indifferent between the combination A and C. That means whether he is consuming this combination or this combination, he must be indifferent towards all these combinations. And then diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Now we all know what marginal rate of substitution is. We have done it here. Marginal rate of substitution is the rate at which a consumer is willing to substitute one good for the other. The rate at which the consumer is willing to substitute one good for another. This is marginal rate of substitution. Now we can see when a consumer has lesser of units, when 10 to 7 it comes and then 7 to 5, 5 to 4, you can see that the rate of substitution is diminishing. He is willing to give lesser and lesser of y to obtain one additional unit of x. This is called as diminishing marginal rate of substitution. So you can mark the definition of diminishing marginal rate of substitution in your book. Now this says that when the consumer substitutes more and more of one commodity, when he substitutes more and more of one commodity for another commodity, he'll be prepared to give lesser units of y to get additional unit of x. When he has lesser unit of y, he will be willing to give up lesser of y to obtain one additional unit of x. So kindly mark this definition in your book and learn it. This is important for your short answer questions. So these are the assumptions on which indifference curve analysis is based. Now we come to the properties of indifference curve. Now properties of indifference curve, the first says it slopes downward from left to right. Slopes downward from left to right means it is coming like this. That means in order to obtain, this is y, this is x. If you want to increase the consumption of x, you will have to reduce the consumption of y. That is why it slopes downward from left to right. So what will you write in this? In this you'll write, in order to increase the consumption of x, the consumer will have to reduce the consumption of y. That is why it slopes downward from left to right. Convex to origin. Now why is it convex to origin? It is convex to origin because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. You can see it is convex to the origin. Origin means this is the origin, and you know what convex and concave means. It's bulging this side, so this is convex to the origin. Had it been this ways, this is called concave to the origin. But here it is convex to the origin. You had done production possibility curve. In production possibility curve in class 11th, it was concave to the origin. But this is convex to the origin. The next property says a higher indifference curve will yield higher satisfaction. Why will a higher indifference curve yield higher satisfaction? Now this is IC1, IC2, IC3. These are three indifference curves. If you take IC2, at this point you are having Y units of commodity Y and X units of commodity X. Now at the same level, if you see this indifference curve IC3, this will give you a combination of goods where Y remains same but it has higher units of X. So a higher indifference curve will always yield higher satisfaction and lower indifference curve yields lower satisfaction. Then two IC curves never intersect. Indifference curve never intersect. Say this is IC1. Now, we know that two indifference curves, they show different levels of satisfaction. And at this point of intersection, what is it showing? Point of intersection is showing that both the curves have same level of satisfaction, which is not possible. So this is absurd, and that is why two indifference curves can never intersect. So when you're writing the answer for this particular point, you'll write the meeting point of two IC curves shows that the satisfaction derived at this point is equal, which is not possible, and hence two IC curves can never intersect. So this is how you are supposed to write the answer. In the next video, we will take up how to attain consumer's equilibrium using indifference curve analysis. Till then, stay safe and take care. Thank you.